Today we continue with the story of Elijah in the home of a widow in Zarephath of Sidon, and she lives there with her son, and we've heard how Elijah has blessed her as she responded in faith and trust to his request for a little cake and some water, and seemingly everything is going great, and then tragically the son becomes ill and he dies. And one of the things that's striking about this part of 1 Kings 17, and it's in verses 17 to 24, it's the mother's response, which you find in verse 18. She said to Elijah, "What have you against me, O man of God? You have come to me to bring my sin to remembrance and to cause the death of my son." I want to talk about that a little bit before we get to the final verse of the day. Many times, it seems to me, when something tragic, bad happens, we're looking for a cause and an effect. And so often, people's view of God is, well, if something terrible happened, God is punishing me. That God's doing this to me because I did something bad. That's part of what you see in the response of the widow. "What have you against me? You have come to bring my sin to remembrance." Well, we don't know what that sin is. We know that the woman is a widow, so that we know she was married. It's speculation to wonder if she was widowed and then had her son out of wedlock, or whether he was the son of her husband. We don't know that. But there's something clearly in this woman's past where she interprets the death of her son as punishment for her sin. You may recall there's a story in the Gospel of John, in John chapter 9, of the disciples seeing a man who had been blind from birth and asking, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Which on the face of it is a stupid or absurd question, because how could he have sinned if he was born that way? But again, this connects to a theology of, if there's something wrong with a person physically, if there's something wrong in their life, they must have sinned and God must be punishing them. And that's not the way Jesus sees the world. So thankfully, Elijah is able to revive her son and to bring him back to life. And this is something that we will see Jesus do multiple times in the Gospels. And the result of Elijah restoring her son is the verse of the day, which is verse 24. "So the woman said to Elijah, 'Now I know that you are a man of God, and that the word of the Lord in your mouth is truth.'" Sometimes it takes something really significant to bring someone to faith. And clearly that's the case for this woman. I pray that whatever is going on in your life, especially if you're dealing with a physical issue or something chronic, that you will not interpret it as God punishing you for something you did wrong. Our bodies, unfortunately, have their weaknesses and their frailties. That's just part of life in this world. It doesn't mean that God doesn't love us or that God isn't with us.